In this video, I'm going to go over the requirements for Assignment 4, Developing an Academic Plan for PSY 120, Careers in Psychology, Neuroscience, and Human Development. As I mentioned in my Week 4 overview, one of your challenges for that week was to make an appointment with your advisor. As a major in one of our programs, you should already have an advisor within the program. If for some reason, maybe you're changing majors, maybe you're a double major, it is possible that you don't yet have a major advisor in our program. If that's the case, you can meet with me or you can meet with any other member of the department. The other steps involved in this assignment, after you meet with your advisor, you need to take a look at all of the elements that are built into the requirements for the bachelor's degree as you're a student at Mount Union. What I try to do with my advisees is take a big picture view in every meeting that I have with them at all of the elements of the requirements for their degrees. That includes looking at majors, looking at minors, looking at integrative core requirements, at proficiency requirements, at portfolio requirements, and so on. So the second step in your academic plan assignment, I want you to take a look at your foreign language and math proficiency requirements. I've provided links here in the assignment sheet. You can look at the Mount Union webpage. The description of the foreign language proficiency requirement is outlined here. Basically, to graduate, you need to complete at a 102 level something in foreign languages to meet that proficiency requirement. You may pass the proficiency test if you've had a lot of foreign language in the past and you feel very competent at it. You can pass the test. Some people will take the proficiency test and they'll test out of the 101 level, and then what they need to take is the 102 test. So it really just depends on where you're at. There are some special situations, so you will want to be aware of those, but you do at some point need to complete that requirement. So step 2 involves having a plan for that. And then for the math proficiency requirements, again, I've provided you a link to the description of the requirements on the Mount Union website. The math proficiency requirement can be kind of confusing because you will be placed at one of 4 levels, A, B, C, or D. And for a lot of students, they forget when this happened. This happens when you first enter the university, and it can be something that you hear and you understand, but then you file it away and you don't think about it anymore. So we have level A, B, C, and D. It can be based on placement test scores. It can be based on SAT or ACT. Regardless, you're going to be placed at a level. You can click on these drop downs to find out what you need to do before you can decide what classes. So level A students need to complete 119 or 100 plus one of these other sets of options. Level B, 119 or one of these other courses. Level C, 119 or one of the other courses. Level D, your proficiency requirement is completed. You may want to take additional mathematics courses, but they're not required of you. The next thing is to take a look at where you stand in terms of your integrative core requirements. Some students these days are coming in to the university straight from high school with some college credit in hand. It may be the case that you get credit for some foundations courses and or some courses that are required in your major or a minor. It's very important that you scrutinize your records from your high school transcripts as well as transcripts from any college credit plus courses that you have taken. If you have questions about what courses have been brought in, for transfer, make sure that you get those questions answered. I have had many students over the years who took courses at other institutions, either as high school students or as transfer students, and all it took was really asking the registrar some questions to get those courses to count toward the integrative core. So what I want you to do as a part of your academic planning is to look at the integrative core requirements, and there are a number of places where you can find additional information. There's the integrative core page on the Mount Union webpage, which has a description of the basics of what is required in the integrative core. Please note that if you have any questions about the portfolio, the Rader Foundation's portfolio, or the integrative core in general, that the integrative core office is your best source of information. The basic elements of the integrative core: first year seminar, foundations courses. So you have the H, N, S, and A. I guess they're called HANs for short. Each one of those needs to be taken. For neuroscience, you are required in your major to cover basically your S and your N as part of your requirements. In psychology and HDFS, your S will be covered by your major requirements pretty easily. For a lot of my advisees, the challenge is in kind of trying to make decisions about fine arts and humanities. So do some planning, do some investigation on self-service to look for courses that are available that may be of interest to you in those various areas. The Rader Foundation's portfolio is basically designed to have you demonstrate your competency in the areas of written and oral communication. And the portfolio requirement is something that has to be passed before you can move on to explorations courses and eventually to your capstone course. So refamiliarize yourself with what's required of these elements and make sure that you understand them. Again, if you have questions about the Rader Foundation's portfolio, please contact the Integrative Core office, and you can visit that office in KIC 233. Explorations courses, we offer quite a few now, explorations level courses out of our own department, and some of those courses can be used to also meet requirements for your majors. That can help you, be more efficient as you move through your program. Also, it can help you to expand your horizons as you continue to move through your program. And then finally, the capstone requirement is something that's typically taken in the senior year, although some students who come in with a lot of college credit will get through their integrative core quite quickly and may take it in their junior year so that they can study abroad or do more in-depth internship experiences. If you are a transfer student, please read through this description of how transfer credit is handled for meeting the requirements of the integrative core. Basically, we try to meet you halfway in getting you the same quality of experience that we give students who do not transfer, who start here from the beginning, but at the same time give you credit for what you've already earned. So in that step, what I would like you to try and do, and you can use self-service to do some exploration. You can use your catalog to help do some exploring. Try to think about first, second, and third, possibly third choices in each of the areas where you have options for the integrative core. The fourth step is to take a look at the four-year plans for the majors, for your majors, and also to give some thought to your minors. The documents for that you will want to look at. I always tell students to make sure that they become familiar with the catalog. Each year, a catalog is put out. So what I'm showing here on the screen is the PDF copy of the 2022-2023 undergraduate catalog. Starting on page 165 in that document is the outline of all of the programs in psychology, neuroscience, and human development. It can be helpful for you to review whichever major you are taking, to review the core requirements, to review elective requirements and distribution requirements, so that you understand them. Again, this can help you to plan. When you look at these lists of courses, you can identify, say, if I'm an HDFS major, and I have to take one course in human development, which course am I going to put as my highest priority, and which course might be my second choice or my third choice. Same for the family development area and the society and culture area, and so on. And then same goes for neuroscience and for psychology. Again, you've got a core set of courses everybody in that major has to take, including for neuroscience, Bio 140N and Chem 120N. But then you have some choices. So in these areas where you have choices, you can identify courses that you really are a priority for you, and which ones are not so much a priority for you. And that can help you in your planning going forward. And then finally, the major in psychology. Again, there's the core elements, things that all students in that major have to take, but then you have these 3 distribution areas where you have choices you can make. So the goal is for you to give some thought to which of these kinds of courses do I want to take. I have lots of conversations with students who they're taking the psychology major, they really want to be a clinician or a counselor, they are thinking about working with kids. So you can look at these distribution requirements and say, okay, I want to be a counselor, I want to work with kids and families. What might I want to stack in my program? I often will recommend child and adolescent or lifespan development. I might recommend the learning and conditioning class and the cognition class. If people are really interested in going into clinical and counseling, I almost always recommend abnormal. If they're interested in autism, the Intro to Autism course, and child and adolescent psychopathology if they're interested in working with kids. We also have, for students who are really interested in going into the counseling path, they can build a program by really targeting courses that are connected to their areas of interest. So what I want you to do as you're kind of thinking about these catalog descriptions and 4-year plans is to be mindful of what your options are. Too often when I'm sitting down with students to do their scheduling for a given semester, they're basically kind of in panic mode, and they're just looking at what's there this semester and saying, I'm going to build out my schedule so it works with my work schedule. I would like you to be a bit more mindful than that, trying to think of what are the ideal courses that can help me achieve my goals or expand my horizons. Now, these 4-year plans, you do have to be careful about them. They occasionally have little errors, like right now, the 4-year plans that are available to me as I prep this class haven't been updated for the fall semester yet. So the title of PSY 120 is currently incorrect because we have revised that class. It is now Careers in Psychology, Neuroscience, and Human Development. So there are little things that are off. The way these 4-year plan documents work, they're kind of an idealized version of what you could be doing across the 4 years. They are based on the assumption that you are a brand new first-year student coming in straight out of high school, or coming in with no college experience and no transfer credits. So right away, for many of you, this 4-year layout would have to be modified. So you kind of have to take it for what it is. It's a from the ground up plan for when you ought to be kind of thinking about filling in your basic requirements. Some things are, the boxes in gray are designed to give you some kind of basic timeline for integrative core requirements. The other things are basically for the major that is outlined in the 4-year plan. Again, you are going to have your own unique situation. Some of you have multiple majors. Some of you have multiple minors. All of those things add complexity to how you want to lay out your 4 years. Many of you come in with some college credit, and some of you have plans where you might want to study abroad or do an off-campus internship. All of those things will alter the way in which your 4-year plan might roll itself out. So just take it as a guideline. I've given you links to all of the 4-year plans for the various programs. There's a page. If you click on the link that's in the document, it will take you to all of the 4-year plans. The folder here on the Radar repository, those are for education programs. So if you are a person who wants to do a double major in education, or you're getting a certification path within education, that's where you find those plans. Otherwise, you have all of the other programs that are offered at the university at this point in time. So if you're considering a minor, say, in coaching or a minor in communication or whatever it is, you can download those plans, and that can help you to build out that component of your academic plan. So in step 4, I want you to plot out your minor, or your major rather, and then in step 5, I want you to plan for at least one minor at the present time. Remember, you can always change your mind. Plan at least one minor or a second major. If you do 2 majors, you are not required to do an additional minor. Most of my students, though, the way our programs are built and the way our integrated core is structured, you have the space to have those second minors or second majors and also pursue minors in areas that you're interested in. With your second major, you should kind of go through the same process that you did with step 4 to outline what you're planning to do with that second major. Finally, I want you to produce a summary document that outlines your plan. You have some freedom for how you want to do this, how you want to set it up. A bullet point list is fine with me. Doesn't have to, other than you giving me a paragraph at the beginning describing your meeting with your advisor and a paragraph at the end summarizing the experience of building this plan. It doesn't need to be in complete sentences. So, you can build a list. Do remember, I do not accept documents in PDF. You need to turn in your documents in Word because D2L does weird things to PDF documents in some cases. Some other offices that you may find useful as far as the web pages for them, you have the Office of the University Registrar. This is where you can find your link to your university catalog. And some additional resources that can help you for planning purposes. Mostly they're giving you the links to the 4-year plans and the link to the academic programs that we offer here. Also on the Radar repository is an academic advising page that includes some links to other things that you may need. Language proficiency, math proficiency, and so on, as well as forms that you might need over the years. Requests for incompletes, for example, are all there. The other resource for you, and I'm guessing that my page looks a little different than yours because I have different options, but one of the things I'm pretty sure shows up on yours is the course catalog. This is how you can do some searching for things that you're interested in. And this might be helpful for you if you haven't played around. In the course catalog, you click on the advanced search. You can click for the term that you're interested in, or you can just leave it blank. And let's say you want to figure out, how am I going to meet my Explorations G requirement? You can click on that as the course type, and you can hit the search button, and it's going to give you a list of the G courses that have been offered at various points in time. And then you can whittle that down by spring and fall and get some guesses as to when they are typically offered. And that can help you with some of that planning of picking first, second, third courses that might be ones that you're interested in using as you are pursuing or building your plan out. So remember that trick when you click on the course catalog for in self-service, that you can select by term, you can select by subject, you can select by level, but most of what I use the advanced search for is to get these IC areas to help me. So I often am looking for capstone courses for my senior students, foundations courses in the various areas, that it can really help you with your planning to use that tool. So what you're going to turn in your document, I want a 1-paragraph summary of your meeting with your advisor. It's basically evidence that you actually had a meeting with your advisor. Then I want a description of courses you have taken already or you plan to take to meet your proficiencies in math and language. A description of courses you have taken or plan to take to meet your IC requirements, and that includes your Rater Foundations portfolio. Fourth, a description of courses you have taken or plan to take to meet requirements for your major. A description of what you're planning to do for a minor or a second major, and then finally a concluding paragraph reflecting on the plan that you have produced. Now the goal here is for you, why am I making you do this? I'm making you do this, even if you are a junior or senior, it can really help you to identify the holes in your plan and the places where you can still add growth potential to your plan while you're still in school. I've done the academic plan assignment with juniors and seniors. It has definitely not been a waste of their time. For first year and second year students, it can all seem kind of overwhelming trying to make these choices, but the goal is for you to keep this plan, keep the document, and share it with your advisor regularly, and then update it every year while you're still a student. And that can help you keep track of your plan, avoid unpleasant surprises like a missed requirement, and so on. It teaches you to be proactive and in control of your academic plan. So that is my summary of Assignment 4, Developing an Academic Plan.